Shawn Christopher Cranston, a 53-year-old truck driver from Corry, Pennsylvania, stands convicted of a heinous crime that shocked the nation. The brutal murder of 23-year-old pregnant Amish woman Rebekah Byler and her unborn child on February 26, 2024, in her Sparta Township home. Charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder of an unborn child, burglary, and criminal trespass, Cranston's actions left a peaceful Amish community reeling. In this documentary, we delve into the psychological and psychoanalytic depths of Cranston's mind, dissecting the chilling motivations, mental state, and twisted reasoning behind his savage acts, using science to uncover what drove him to commit such an unthinkable crime. Why zero in on Shawn Cranston? Because this isn't just a murder. It's a psychological abyss, a case that screams for analysis due to its sheer brutality and the eerie context of its setting. The murder of Rebekah Byler, a young Amish mother 6 months pregnant, wasn't a random act. It was a calculated violation of a sacred space, her home, in front of her 2 young children. Cranston's crime is a grotesque puzzle. Why target an Amish woman? A symbol of innocence and simplicity? On that cold February morning, he allegedly broke into Byler's home on Fish Flats Road, intent on burglary. When Rebekah confronted him, he didn't just kill her. He slashed her throat with a knife and, when she didn't die fast enough, shot her in the head, ending her life and that of her unborn child. The savagery, the precision, the violation of a pregnant woman in her own home. It's a case that demands we peel back the layers of Cranston's psyche to understand the darkness within. Let's start at the beginning, because monsters aren't born in a vacuum. Shawn Cranston, born in 1971 in Corry, Pennsylvania, grew up in a small, working-class town where life was tough but not inherently cruel. Details about his early years are sparse, but what we do know paints a picture of a man who never quite fit in. Court records reveal a criminal history stretching back decades, embezzlement, disorderly conduct, and charges of harming another person. These aren't just petty crimes. They're red flags, early signs of psyche wired for chaos. Psychologically, this suggests a pattern of impulsivity and disregard for societal norms, traits often linked to antisocial personality disorder. People with ASPD don't just break rules, they thrive on it, feeling no guilt, no remorse, just a cold drive to get what they want. Cranston's childhood likely wasn't a warm, nurturing environment. Psychoanalytic theory, particularly attachment theory, tells us that early relationships shape how we see the world. If Cranston grew up with neglect, rejection, or inconsistent parenting, common in families struggling with poverty or dysfunction, it could have left him with a deep-seated sense of abandonment. This is an excuse. It's a lens. A child who feels unloved can grow into an adult who trusts no one, who sees others as obstacles or threats. By the time he was a truck driver, living a solitary life on the road, Cranston was already a ticking bomb, his resentment simmering beneath a facade of normalcy. What kind of mind slits a pregnant woman's throat and shoots her in front of her kids? Let's break it down. Antisocial personality disorder is a strong contender here. ASPD isn't just about being a bad person. It's a chronic pattern of exploiting others, ignoring consequences, and lacking empathy. Cranston's past embezzlement, violence, and now murder fits the bill. He didn't just kill Rebekah. He did it with chilling efficiency, suggesting a complete detachment from her humanity. But there's more. Psychoanalytically, we can look at Freud's concept of the death drive, a subconscious urge toward destruction. In Cranston, this drive seems to have overpowered any moral restraint, turning a burglary into a bloodbath. Then there's the possibility of narcissistic traits. Narcissists crave control and can lash out when their sense of power is threatened. Rebekah's screams, her resistance, might have triggered what psychologists call narcissistic rage, a violent reaction to feeling disrespected or exposed. A prison inmate who claimed Cranston confessed to the murder said she started screaming, so he slit her throat. She didn't die quick enough, so he shot her. This wasn't just about silencing her. It was about asserting dominance, erasing her defiance. Combine ASPD with narcissistic rage, and you've got a recipe for catastrophic violence. Imagine this. February 26, 2024, a quiet Amish home on Fish Flats Road, Sparta Township. The air is crisp, the house filled with the soft sounds of Rebekah Byler doing laundry, her 2 toddlers playing nearby. Then a shadow moves. Shawn Cranston, a hulking figure in Nike Air Force Ones, slips through the door, his red Jeep parked outside. He's there to steal, but Rebekah sees him. Her scream pierces the silence, and in that moment, Cranston's plan unravels. He grabs her, spins her around, and slashes her throat with a knife, blood spraying across the living room floor. She's still alive, gasping, fighting for her unborn child. So he pulls a gun and fires a bullet into her head, ending 2 lives in seconds. Her children, ages 2 and 3, are there, watching, their tiny minds unable to process the horror. The scene is a nightmare. Rebekah's body on the floor, blood pooling, her children frozen in the dining room. Andy Byler, her husband, returns with family friend, Julie Warner, and finds her. "My wife is dead," he cries, as Warner calls 911, her voice shaking. She's cold. I can't check her pulse. The brutality is staggering. Sharp force wounds to the neck, a gunshot to the head, confirmed by the coroner. Cranston leaves behind a glove fragment with his DNA, shoe prints, and tire tracks. But the murder weapons, a knife and gun, are never found, discarded like Rebekah's life. This wasn't just murder. It was annihilation, a deliberate desecration of a safe haven. Why her? Why an Amish mother, 6 months pregnant, in a community known for peace? The answer lies in a twisted mix of opportunity and motive. Cranston's daughter claimed he thought a family who adopted his grandson lived in the Byler home, suggesting a case of mistaken identity. She said he wanted to take the child back, but when Rebekah confronted him, she started yelling. Then boom, all it took. Psychologically, this points to a delusional fixation, a belief that he was owed something, his grandson, his pride, his control. If true, this wasn't just a burglary gone wrong. It was a mission fueled by a warped sense of entitlement. From a psychoanalytic perspective, object relations theory helps us understand. Cranston may have projected his anger onto Rebekah, seeing her as a stand-in for everyone who'd ever denied him. Family, society, maybe even his own failures as a father. The Amish, with their tight-knit, insular community, might have symbolized everything he lacked. Stability, faith, belonging. Killing Rebekah, a pregnant mother, was the ultimate act of destruction, a way to shatter that ideal. Her pregnancy made her vulnerable, but it also made her a target. Her unborn child was collateral damage in his need to dominate. The method tells us as much about Cranston as the crime itself. Slashing her throat was intimate, visceral, requiring him to get close, to feel her struggle. When that didn't kill her fast enough, he shot her, a cold, calculated escalation. This wasn't impulsive. It was methodical, a progression from one weapon to another to ensure death. Psychologically, this suggests a need for control, a refusal to let Rebekah's resistance win. The choice of weapons, a knife and a gun, shows versatility, a preparedness for violence. He didn't hesitate. He adapted, ensuring no loose ends. The fact that her children were unharmed physically but witnessed the horror adds another layer. Psychopaths often spare certain victims to manipulate perceptions. Leaving the kids alive could have been Cranston's way of avoiding the label of child killer, a twisted attempt to preserve some shred of self-image. Or maybe he just didn't care. Either way, the psychological toll on those toddlers, seeing their mother butchered, is unimaginable, a trauma that will echo for decades. For 5 days, Crawford County held its breath. A red Jeep spotted in Byler's driveway became the key. Surveillance footage, GPS data, and those distinctive Nike shoe prints pointed straight to Cranston. On March 1st, 2024, state police swarmed his home in Corry, 10 miles away, arresting him outside a Dollar General. "I've never seen so much law enforcement at once," said Julie Purpura, a store employee. Cranston didn't run. He couldn't. The evidence was overwhelming. His DNA on a glove, tire tracks matching his Jeep, cell phone data placing him at the scene. He was arraigned at 4:24 a.m., shackled, his fate sealed. The Amish community, known for avoiding modern technology, ironically owed Cranston's capture to it. Those Nike prints, so out of place in an Amish home, were a glaring clue. A pair of matching shoes was found hidden in his camper, tucked under a mattress behind a plywood door. It was as if Cranston's own arrogance betrayed him. He didn't think he'd get caught. didn't think the Amish would have surveillance or forensic science on their side. What pushed Cranston to this point? Let's dig deeper. His criminal history, embezzlement, disorderly conduct, harming others, shows a man who never learned to regulate his impulses. Psychologically, this aligns with the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. His narcissism drove his need for control. His Machiavellianism showed in his calculated burglary, and his psychopathy was clear in his lack of remorse. The inmate's account of his confession, "She didn't die quick enough," is chilling evidence of that psychopathy, a man who saw death as a task to complete, not a tragedy. Trauma theory offers another angle. If Cranston's daughter is right about his motive, his obsession with reclaiming his grandson suggests unresolved grief or rage, perhaps from losing custody or connection with his family. This could have fueled a delusional belief that violence was justified, a way to fix his fractured life. Psychoanalytically, this is projection, blaming others for his pain, then destroying them to feel whole. But it didn't work. Killing Rebekah only deepened his isolation, his failure. The trial, held in June 2025, was a 4-day descent into horror. Prosecutors presented 24 witnesses, including Andy Byler, who found his wife's body, and a prison inmate who recounted Cranston's confession. The jury took less than 3 hours to convict him of first-degree murder, second-degree murder of an unborn child, burglary, and trespass. On July 28, 2025, Judge Francis Schultz sentenced Cranston to 2 consecutive life terms, no parole. "You've ruined lives," Schultz said. "All you had to do was leave. What you did was just awful." Cranston, unshaven and shackled, showed no emotion, a stark contrast to the Amish community's quiet strength. Rebekah's parents submitted letters, but true to their beliefs, they didn't speak, letting justice speak for them. Cranston's attorney withdrew, and he hinted at an appeal, citing ineffective counsel. But with DNA, GPS, and witness testimony stacked against him, his chances are slim. He'll spend his life in a cell, a fitting end for a man who destroyed so much. Shawn Cranston's story ends not with redemption, but with a cold, hard truth. He chose his path. Existentialist philosophy would argue that Cranston's actions were his own, a product of free will gone terribly wrong. He could have walked away, left Rebekah alive, but he didn't. His choices reflect a man who embraced destruction over reason, rage over restraint. Yet, from a deterministic view, was he ever free? A life of crime, possible trauma, and a fractured psyche might have set him on this course long, before February 26, 2024. Are we all just one bad childhood, one wrong turn away from becoming him? Philosophically, his crime challenges us to grapple with the nature of evil. Is it a force within us, waiting to be unleashed, or is it cultivated by a world that fails to heal its broken souls? Cranston's life sentences are society's attempt to contain that evil, but they can't erase the scars left on Rebekah's family, her children, or the Amish community. His story is a mirror, forcing us to confront the darkness we'd rather ignore. Rebekah Byler's murder is more than a crime. It's a wound on a community, a violation of everything the Amish hold dear: peace, family, faith. Her children, now motherless, carry the weight of that day. The community, resilient but shaken, mourns in silence. Psychologically, Cranston's actions remind us that the human mind can be a battlefield where trauma, rage, and delusion wage war. His story is a warning. Ignore the signs: criminality, isolation, lack of empathy, and you risk creating a monster. As we leave this tale, one question lingers. How many more Shawn Cranstons are out there, waiting for their moment to strike?